Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And it's turning out to be a totally wonderful Thursday morning. We've already had the story about the excellent polling results, which shows how badly the SNP are doing. But now there is news on the Matheson front. Apparently, the report that went into it for his Moroccan fondling has been sort of handed to him. And although it hasn't been published as such, it is said to have some pretty damning stuff within it. And it looks like this may be the straw that breaks the camel's back and that he will have to go. We're going to take a look at the story here. But it is just wonderful that we're getting such a great little run of stories this Thursday morning. So do hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss them. We've got hopefully a penny coming up later. It's a Thursday, so we'll see if we can get the penny story before we finish for the day. Plus, there's a couple of other stories that I think you'll be interested as well. So do please hit the subscribe button. We'll build the channel and we will keep punching through the truth. And also today as well, I've already heard another one that someone has been automatically unsubscribed from YouTube. So do please check that that is not the case for you. And resubscribe. They are a bugger for it, and I can't do anything about it, I'm afraid. Anyway, well, let's have a look at the Matheson story and see how bad it is going to be for the Minister of Moroccan Fondling. Here goes. So, Michael Matheson facing the sack after damning Holyrood report into the £11,000 iPad bill. And that's where he was sitting in his little hotel room in Morocco, iPad in his left hand, not very much at all, I suspect, in his right hand, having a great time while the kids and the wife were down by the pool. It's one of those things that just happens to a gentleman when he's away and he's lonely. The Health Secretary racked up the charges on holiday in Morocco after allegedly his sons used the device to watch football matches. But Hamza Yousaf has so far resisted calls to sack his pal. Now, this football story, it's incredibly unbelievable, isn't it? Apart from, of course, throwing his kids under the bus in order to save his own career, there's the fact that he refuses to hand the iPad over to be inspected. And if it is just football, as he says, that wouldn't be an issue now. We can all go, okay, yeah, it was football. That's fine. Move on. But, of course, he's not doing that. Because we all know it wasn't football, was it? It was gentleman's special interest entertainment, probably. But I have a feeling it's even worse than that. I have a feeling it's something quite degenerate. Because it's the SNP we're talking about here. We all know what their little predilections are for. Anyway, Matheson could be facing the sack after an official probe into his infamous £11,000 wank bill on a parliamentary device heavily criticised the Health Secretary. So this report's criticising him. Now, there's apart from the actual, attempted fraud that he committed, and then the lying to cover it up, and then the sort of absolute low-life scumbaggery where you blame your kids and throw your kids under the bus rather than standing up and saying, I made a mistake, and taking the hit. It's also the fact that he has effectively proven himself to be a security risk. One, that iPad should never have been in Morocco. Morocco is not deemed to be a safe country, according to the Foreign Office. Secondly, why on earth was he letting his kids have access to a device on which is undoubtedly stored secure governmental information? So, you have that as well. And that itself should be a resignation matter on top of everything else. There's also the fact that he's absolutely crap at his job. That alone should have got him fired. And of course, he can't actually do his job because he's so worried about everything that's going on in the rest of his life. And therefore, the NHS is collapsing around his ears. And it is. And we see it. And we did the report yesterday. All this terrible stuff that's going on because he's not, focused on the job. Fire him. Get someone in who can at least think about the job. Won't be any better because there's no talent in the SNP. But at least it won't be worrying about their wank bill. Anyway, Matheson initially insisted the bill was related only to constituency work, but that was a lie. But he was eventually forced to admit his sons had used it to watch football matches while they were away. And I suspect that is a lie also. The Daily Mail now reports that the investigation by Holyrood is now complete and has been handed to Matheson. It's said to contain damning new evidence regarding his conduct. And I think we all need to see the report to see what this new evidence is. Matheson had initially expected the taxpayer to foot the bill, but backtracked and offered to pay it himself due to a public outcry. Offered to pay it himself because he didn't want to hand over the iPad to be inspected. However, he continued to maintain it had only been used for official business. Again, more lies, but this time to everybody and in the chamber. And lying in the chamber should be an immediate resignation matter. He even reiterated that to the press and the public days before he made a tearful confession on the floor of the Parliament. Grow the hell up, you sad man. Oh, look at me, Blue, look at me. Tears coming down out of his face as he's sitting there watching his career fall apart. But luckily, Humza has said, no, I'll stand by him. So you have to wonder what he's got on Humza Yousaf. Are they all in it together? Anyway, Humza Yousaf has so far backed his close ally, despite concerns from within the SNP at the damage it would do to the credibility of the government. Oh yeah, they're going to keep backing him, but then when they find out what the true state of the affair is, it's going to look pretty awful. Oh yes, I'm backing him, I'm backing him, I'm backing him. Oh my God, he's done what? The report from the Scottish Parliament corporate body will pile more pressure on the First Minister to sack Mr Matheson. The matter will now be referred to the Holyrood Standards Committee, which could suspend Matheson from the Holyrood building. And if she's getting a suspension, he's got to go. The committee has a majority of opposition MSPs and includes the Labour convener Martin Whitfield, Tories Stephen Kerr and Annie Wells, and Ivan McKee and Evelyn Tweed of the SNP. So there's no guarantee that they will save his bacon. Matheson had initially claimed $3,000 for the bill through MSP expenses, billing it as an office cost. The rest came from parliamentary funds, although the Health Secretary eventually agreed to pay it all himself. Why not? It was his jolly fun time. In his humiliating statement to Parliament in November, Matheson was forced to admit lying to the press earlier, insisting the iPad had not been used for personal reasons, even after his wife informed him that his sons had used it. He claimed at the time he was trying to protect his children, and that is not an excuse. You still break the rules, and don't throw your children under the bus. What kind of weak, spineless man are you? Your children will now look at you with loathing. Thanks, Dad. Thanks. His wife must now look at him and think, what a waste. I had children with this man. Oh my God, he's not fit to be a father. A real man stands up and protects his children, not throws them under the bus. Ironically, Matheson will address the Holyrood today, when he's expected to confirm a massive hike in the price of alcohol for hard-up Scots, because they need to punish you all. You know, there's a couple of problem drinkers, but it's very hard to deal with problem drinkers. So what they'll do is they'll punish everybody, and the children of the problem drinkers will go hungry. What a great plan this is going to be. A spokesman for Mr Yousaf insisted the SNP leader still had faith in Mr Matheson. No one else does, not even his own family. Scottish parliamentary spokesman said the SPCB previously said its initial statement of provisional findings would likely be provided to the member in January 2024. Work continues apace, and the SPCB will provide an update once it's appropriate to do so. It has now provided an update. And of course, it's just enough. He's got to go. He's got to go for so many reasons. Apart from the attempted fraud and the lying and his ineptitude and the fact that nobody trusts him and the fact that going forward no one ever can trust him again, there's the basic fact that in all reality he really is just a wanker. I'm coming up. Will he have the balls to go? Will he say, okay, enough's enough, I'll walk now? Or will he still cling on to maintain that money, to maintain all that public money for his income and his pension? Because he's all grasp and greed and grift. He's already attempted the fraud, and then he's lied, and he's useless. And yet still he is there, propped up by a very weak man who cannot fire him. I think in Humza Yousaf's mind, if he fires Matheson, it means he's chosen badly in the first place. And they can't do that because Humza Yousaf never makes mistakes, apparently. And yet here he is, still there. Nobody trusts him. Nobody likes him. They all know exactly what he is. And we all know that what's on that iPad is pretty bad stuff. Otherwise he would have handed it over and said, no, it's football. Look, go and check. But But he won't, will he? Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and stay angry. Because these people are just going to get away with everything. Bye.